Okay, before we do announcements, we're gonna now do tribute and reflections on the memory of former mayor, former council president, former state legislator, former school board, former just about everything. And each council member is gonna get 3 minutes, and we're gonna start with Council Member Ferraro to just reflect on your time spent with Council President Hazouri. So start with Councilman Ferraro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tommy was a special man. We butted heads up here quite a bit, and afterwards he always extended a olive branch out. So a lot of times in the elevator I was with him, just me and him, and he would always call me Mr. Ferraro. I had a lot of school teachers who did that to me also. And he said, Mr. Ferraro, he says, I want to get along with you. He says, you think we can make that happen? And I says, of course we can make that happen. So I told him, I said, you know, Tommy, if this building ever caught on fire, I said, I would carry you down these stairs. And he says, I wouldn't let you do that to me because you'd be lecturing me the whole way down. So, you know, he was somebody that believed in what he was doing. And I'm glad I got to meet him. I wish I had got to know him as well as some of the other people on here, but no matter where I go in the city, whether people agreed with him politically or not, they seem to always say a kind word about him, and I think that's the way I'd always remember him. So thank you for allowing me to get up and say something.
Councilman Dennis.
Thank you. You know, I too have some fond memories and a lot of fond memories of Tommy. And I'll just, you know, share one or two in my 3 minutes. You know, one of the things that Tommy used to always say to me, he used to always say, "You're such a hakush." He said that hakush means a troublemaker in Arabic, hakush. And he would always say, "You're such a hakush." And I'll never forget once he rolled off of being president, hakush with you. But, you know, Tommy, even though Tommy had his ways about him, he always looked out for you. And I'll just share one story. I was going to get my yearly physical out of Mayo back in March. And he called me up that morning, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on beautiful JTB, going to get my my physical." And I ended up at a coffee shop. He said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm about to get some coffee." He said, "You can't drink coffee before your physical if you're taking blood work." And you know, we argued about me drinking some coffee that morning, and I ended up not drinking the coffee. So when I got into my doctor, I said, "You know, my colleague, who's always trying to boss me around, said that I shouldn't drink coffee before the physical." She said, "He's absolutely right, because you would have had to come back." And that's how I remember Tommy. Again, always want to boss you around, being that big brother, and teasing and joking. And so I'm going to miss him. And I'm glad that the time that I got an opportunity to spend with Tommy on the council. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Mr. Carlucci.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to extend my condolences to the family, to Carol, his wife, young Tommy, to the entire family. What a year. And Tommy's life was an odyssey. And I was glad I could be along with that odyssey over the last 40 some odd years. I have a lot of funny stories, but I don't have time for that now, and I'm really not in a celebration type mood. I'm still, like so many of us and so many in our community, I'm reflecting, but I'm also sad. I've had to sit across here and see Tommy's nameplate up there with the ribbon. It just doesn't seem real. But I will tell you, Tommy Hazouri did more for this city than anybody can ever imagine. And he was the strongest council president that I have seen in decades. Had we not had Tommy Hazouri as our council president last year, I don't know what would have happened. but I can tell you, I'm sure glad he was our council president. And his wife, Carol, she went through adversities. And you know, sometimes you hear people talk about the lady behind the man, Carol. You didn't see her that much, but she was side by side with Tommy, arm in arm with Tommy. And their family, I would ask that tonight, at whatever time you say your prayers, pray for Tommy's family, that they can somehow get through this and remember the joy and the happiness that he brings. And we always think about the afterlife, and I know that Tommy's in heaven tonight. I know he was secure in his faith. But sometimes you think, what happens if somebody comes back as something else? And this is kind of the only little humorous thing I can say right now.